Today's MMA T Company fight preview is with Tommy Majeski. Tommy is 2-0. He'll be fighting Jonathan Piersma, who is 1-0 at CFFC 94. That's going to be on April 1st. Tommy, I know I got you between training sessions here today. So what's on the schedule today?
Well, tonight this morning I worked at the gym and then did some timing, strength training, balance, stuff like that. And then tonight I have Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu.
Awesome. I wanted to actually talk to you about your timing, your balance work, the things that you're doing. Anybody who follows you on social sees that you're posting stuff, in your living room, doing some balance work, practicing kicks, working with, tennis balls, different apparatuses. Is it safe to say you're pretty much training 24/7?
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm awake and I'm not eating, I'm probably training.
And where did you come up with the different things you do? I don't want to call them like side training or but the things you do between actual training sessions at the gym, whether it's that balance work or your visualizations or things like that.
Some of it from like Instagram and YouTube, and a lot of it I just kind of made up myself. Just kind of like thought about stuff that might apply to fighting and tried to work that on its own.
Absolutely. And how have you seen that kind of influence your actual training session since you started doing it?
I definitely feel a difference. I feel like I'm more accurate. My timing is better. Like my balance is better. Like those things that I try to work on specifically have gotten better over time from doing those things. And that's kind of like the general athleticism part of it. Cause there's the skill, there's the speed and power. Then there's like those kind of intangible factors of it.
And it's that in between kind of stuff, right? That not a lot of people take notice to really mention. A big one being balance. Like you could tell when a guy has good balance when you literally can't knock him off his base, can't sweep him, really hard to take him down, but you can't really see that when you're watching a fight. So talk a little bit about how important balance is just in, those grappling transitions and striking and in fighting in general.
Yeah, I think that you mentioned it. It's always harder to sweep a guy who has a good base, like somebody who maybe wrestled for years or has been doing jujitsu for years. You can sometimes feel it. They feel almost like a strength, but it's more like they're anchored to the ground. You try certain sweeps that work on most people and it won't work on them. And same thing with striking. Like some guys might throw themselves off balance when they throw certain strikes, or they're leaning too far forward or too far back. So I believe that you're more powerful, you're more efficient, but you're also harder to hurt when you're balanced because your head is over your center of gravity.
And center of gravity is a real big factor in MMA, even leading back to what you were saying about guys feeling like they're tied to the ground. There's a lot of people who aren't physically like in the weight room strong, but then you try to move them and they just don't budge. So is that something that is attributed to balance as well?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's part of it. And that ties into like timing of your body mechanics too, which is part of balance. So like you see that the balance ball exercise I do on Instagram, like that's one of those kind of movements, like being able to time your body mechanics, put your weight in the right spot at the right time to have a good base.
Absolutely. And, anybody who's been training for any amount of time knows that timing is everything, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of the commentators even talk about is, not necessarily ring rust. Like if you're out for a long time, right? Maybe you get the jitters or whatever, but if you're not training for a while, the first thing you notice when you come back is your timing is off, right? You might get hit with something you don't usually get hit with. You might miss a couple submissions that you normally lock up. So going into this fight, how are you feeling timing wise?
Better than ever. I mean, I've been doing a lot of those kind of in between, like those intangible factors, the timing, the balance, the stuff like that. So I feel better than ever.
And that, I know last time we talked, or maybe two times ago, you said that you had to kind of step back from overtraining, right? And focus on
Yeah.
recovery and then also the mental side of things. So now leading into this fight, do you feel, you said you feel better than ever. Can you also attribute that to taking more of a focus on that kind of active recovery, listening to your body, knowing that you don't have to go balls to the wall 110% every single time that you step in the gym?
Yeah, 100%. Because before it would be like, oh, if I'm not feeling like, feeling like shit at the end of the day, then I didn't train hard
Mhm.
enough. But with that kind of, with addressing each individual factor and knowing that I addressed it every single day, that kind of puts me at ease and gives me peace of mind going into each fight. I know that I did everything I can to perform the best that I can.
And that's one of the biggest things that I think a lot of guys get nervous for before fights is they'll sit in the back and they'll be like, did I do everything? Or I should have trained harder doing this, or man, I should have done this, or is my gas tank good enough? So knowing that you're doing all of these things, that's a
Mhm.
non-issue, right? That's not even something you have to worry about before the fight, which is a huge relief.
Yeah, my ultimate goal for every training camp is obviously winning, but mostly to go in there and just be like, fuck it. I did everything that I can. So whatever happens, happens. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and talking to you, right, outside of the cage, outside of training, you're a pretty, fun-loving individual, seem pretty laid back. Then you get in the cage, and I don't know if you flip a switch or what happens, but you're trying to murder that guy across from you. Is that just the intention? Is just violence and put him, on his ass and take him out as soon as possible?
Yes, it's funny. It's like like leading up to the fight, like I do try to be as happy and as nice and loving as a person as I can, but I feel it coming on the weeks leading up to the fight. Like there's like an aggression that's building up, and it's like, and I have to like kind of like tell myself, ease off. It's coming soon. And then when I get in the back, it's like all I think about is I'm gonna go in there and try to kill this dude. That's it. Not win, not lose. It's I'm going in there like whoever wins gets to walk out of the cage. That's how I think.
And it's an interesting mentality to me because the way that you train not with, I mean, you may, when you're in the training room, right, train with a little violence or know that it has to be there, but for the most part you're training like this is a sport. You're doing all of the things that high level athletes do for their sport, but then once you actually get to perform in front of everyone, to you're going out there life or death.
Yeah, that's like the subconscious aspect of it. Like you
Mhm.
do all this conscious work, you build all these mechanisms into your unconscious mind, and then when you go into the cage, you just let it out and let the animal out, and all the conscious work that you've done gets to show through that.
And speaking of letting that animal out, I know you said leading up to the fight, you can kind of feel a little bit of aggression. You can feel, those things creeping on. How do your friends and family kind of not, I don't want to say deal with that, but do they leave you alone a little bit more? Do they say, hey, Tommy, you're kind of being an asshole today? How does that go?
Uh, I would say my girl sees it more than anybody. We live together, so it's not. I don't direct it towards her. I
Mhm.
try my best not, to be the nicest that I can be, but we'll be driving and I'll just, you know, I'll get road rage, and she'll be like, just relax to the fight. I'll get to show it all then.
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking of showing it all, right? We're just a couple days out, really, and you're fighting somebody who is also undefeated as a pro. You're climbing the ranks. You're 2-0 here. I know we don't like to talk about exactly what's going to happen in the fight. Don't want to give any secrets or details away, but um, you know, tell me, why Jonathan? Was he just the guy that said I'll fight against Tommy? And how do you see this fight going?
Yeah, I had another opponent, Eddie George, but I think he got injured and he had to drop out. So they found Jonathan Piersma about maybe 2 weeks ago. He seems to be really into wrestling and grappling.
Mhm.
So the game plan is, kind of the same as always: get in his face, throw hard, but I plan on maintaining my range and punishing him when he shoots.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. We'll be watching on the stream on Fight Pass. Before I let you go, just want to, kick it to you like we normally do. Give any shout outs, anybody that's been helping you along the way for this camp. I know you're excited to get back in the cage.
Yeah. Shout out to MMA Tico. You guys are awesome. Um, Webb Fitness and MMA,
Mhm.
Jonathan Webb, Phil Maldonado, Alan Otto, John Marcella, one of my pad holders, John Marquez, the EFC, Daniel Gracie, and all my training partners, my family, my mom, my sisters, and my girl, most of all.
Awesome, Tommy. We're looking forward to seeing you. That's going to be on April 1st, CFFC 94. Looking to make it 3-0. Really excited to see the violence that you're bringing to the cage. We'll see you on the other
Thank
side.
you. Appreciate it. See you
All
then.
right. Yep. See you soon.